we doing, guys? It looks like Arsenal have made their first signing of the transfer window. 30-year-old goalkeeper Kepa Arrizabalaga from Chelsea. This came very out of the blue for me, you know. It came by surprise. I wasn't expecting this one. I don't think anyone was expecting this one. I think we were all expecting your man from Barcelona, Joan Garcia, but we've missed out on him to Barcelona. And we've gone and triggered a release clause of £5 million to sign Kepa Arrizabalaga from Chelsea. Some would sit there and say, why are we signing Kepa? How I'm looking at it, thinking, if he becomes, let's just say, right, people are going to think he's coming in to be a number 2 to Raya. But if he comes in this season, which it looks like he is, and he has played in games that, important games, you know, that has sent us top of the league, and he's kept the clean sheet. I'd look at that and think, £5 million? You sure Chelsea don't want a refund? And the amount of players we signed from Chelsea as well is ridiculous, but it's a good signing. It's a good signing, you know. Obviously, it ain't the striker. It's not the winger. But it's something we needed to cover in that position. You know, because of course Neto's gone back to Bournemouth after his loan spell, so he's not going to be here next season. I'm not having Tommy Setford as my backup goalkeeper next season. No, thank you. I'm not having Jack Porter either. No, thank you. I'm okay with David Raya and Kepa Arrizabalaga. It's a good signing. You know, it's a really good signing. You know, I'm excited to see him as well. You know, he done well for Bournemouth this year in the Premier League this season. Won Bournemouth some vital games against Man City, and even in the cups they got quite far with him. Now this signing obviously means that you can give the likes of David Raya a bit of a rest next season, and you can play Kepa. You know, Kepa's a keeper that I've seen enough in the Premier League to know what he's capable of doing. Knowing what his strengths and his weaknesses are. It's a good signing for us. You know, I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, it's the best signing we've ever made, because it's absolutely not. It's nowhere near that. But people are writing them off already. You know, people are writing the man off already and saying, he's got no chance. We bought Neto in last season to be number 2 goalkeeper. Yes, it didn't work out for him. That's because he couldn't play much because he was on loan. With Kepa, I think it's going to be a lot more competition, which is what I like to see in the team. I don't want to see one goalkeeper here and Neto's all the way back here. Kepa and David Raya are going to be neck to neck, toe to toe. And it's going to be very interesting next season to see what happens between them. Obviously, I do think Raya will start off as the number 1 keeper. And then, obviously, you know, if you've got, let's say you go, hang on. Let's say you've got someone like Leeds at home on September the 21st. And then on September the 29th, the 27th, the week after, you go to Anfield. For the Leeds game, throw Kepa in goal. They're the kind of things we bring in Kepa for. Do you know what I'm saying? Things like that. You know, and we're going for a title next season. We have to win the title next season, and there were no excuses with that. But Andrea Berta and Arteta look like they are signing some really good players. You know, and I'm excited, you know, to see who else we get in the transfer window. You know, I'm really, you know, looking forward to seeing what we do, you know, and what we manage to accomplish from this. And Yeah, it's a good signing, you know, and obviously we all remember the famous moment with Kepa in the Carabao Cup final, and it was when Maurizio Sarri was managing Chelsea, and I think it was just before a penalty shootout, like the last 9 minutes of extra time. You know, and Maurizio Sarri's calling him over, saying, you're coming off. Willy Caballero, he's there standing on the sideline, waiting to come on. Kepa's like, nah, I insist, I can save these penalties. Maurizio Sarri's absolutely fuming. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. Sarri is absolutely fuming. Kepa stays on for the final bit of extra time and the penalties, and Chelsea lose it. Kepa skies his penalty. That was the start of Kepa's downfall with Chelsea. If he'd have come off the pitch, if he did come off the pitch for Chelsea, I reckon it will be a completely different story. But he's ours now, you know, and we've triggered a £5 million release clause in the contract. I think Bournemouth wanted to buy him from the loan deal, but I think it was a straight loan without the option to buy, a bit like what we did with Neto and Raheem Sterling, who I'm so happy has gone back to Chelsea. I don't want to see that man anywhere near the Emirates again, but that's another video for another day. It's a good signing. You know, I can't remember, obviously, when Arteta first came in, he had Aaron Ramsdale and... Oh, no, he didn't have Ramsdale, did he? He had Martinez and Leno when he first come in. That was the start of the Arteta reign. And then he moved from those to Ramsdale and Leno, I think it was. And then Leno leaves, and then we keep Ramsdale as number one. And we bring in Alex Runarsson, do you remember him? He leaves, and then who did we bring in then? I know Ramsdale stayed as number one. It was in the 22-23 season. Who was our backup goalkeeper then? Was it Matt Ryan? I think it was Matt Ryan, you know. I think it was Matt Ryan. No, who was our backup goalkeeper in the... Hang on, let me have a look, one sec. Oh, it was Matt Turner. There you go, I just checked. It was Ramsdale, Matt Turner. And then Turner goes, and then we bring in Raya. And then it's Raya, Ramsdale. Raya then gets number one, Ramsdale gets shipped off, and then we bring in Neto, and then now we bring in Kepa. So Arteta's been here about 5.5 years, 6 years almost. My guys had about 30 goalkeepers. But listen, I'm excited about this signing. You know, it's a signing I'm looking at thinking it's a sensible signing from Arsenal, you know, and we needed the keeper. You know, we've got our man, and yeah, we need to start focusing on the big signings now. You know, the striker, who's that gonna be? The winger, who's that gonna be? And other areas as well. You know, midfield is a problem. We could do with a number 8, I think, or even a number 6. We could do even with a new number 10 if it comes out that bad. But listen, I've got a pattern going in my head, and Kepa was in the pattern. He was the first signing I had that we were gonna make. The second one was a centre defensive midfielder. The third one was a striker. And the fourth one was a winger. So remember that one, alright? But listen, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Are you happy with this signing? Yes or no? Kepa Arrizabalaga to Arsenal is a done deal. Yeah. I'm alright with it. That's my personal opinion. But listen, if you're new around here, smash a like on the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'm excited. I'll see you lot soon. I'm out of it. Peace.